Okay, taking a break. I'm rearranging everything in the house, and you'll see the R2D2 will be gone eventually, or at least moved into another area. Getting things ready before the conference. I have people coming to stay at the house, but this is a back and forth between PopPrepper and I. And what's the point? Why should we vote when we're not having the representatives that we believe in, that have our interest at hand, best interest at hand, or what we want to see done? What's the point? After the Obama-Romney election, that was probably one of the... I mean, it was right in the middle of Sandy, and you saw in the videos, they did a whole series of videos on Sandy, and what I lost power for 14 days, and I did a huge amount, even though some of them are kind of screwed up with the titles and everything, because I was making them so fast once I finally got power back on. So I had a lot of cut and paste errors, so it is what it is. I'm not going back and changing it, whatever. It's up there as a document to what I went through, and with my preps and how, what I did and how I kind of went through, survived it, I guess. I wouldn't call it surviving. It was, I was well prepared. That election, that was when I was like pretty much done with the Republican Party. And I'm fully done with the Republican Party after tax time of this year, when I really got a taste of how overreaching our government is. So why even participate in the voting process if it seems like it's... Because I believe it's still not so broken that it's unfixable. I've still yet to pick up Mark Levin's book. I think it's called The Amendment Clause. I'm not sure. If you do Mark Levin new book, type it in, you'll find it. I forget what the name of it is, but it's supposed to be like a whole plan of attack on how to get our country back. And I did not mean to rhyme like that. That was totally unintentional. Honestly, I don't think it's broken to the point where absenteeism is an answer. And I think of all the people, this is why I've gotten involved in researching history. This is why I go on historical trips. Like when I go on, I don't just go to like the Virgin Islands to stick my feet in the sand. I need to coincide what I study and what I read about with actually physically going there to connect with what I'm learning about. The heritage that I inherited through the steps and the blood of others. And I think of these principled men, these forefathers, and I think about what they have done to create this system that we all benefit from. We all benefit from. And I think of D-Day. I think of Gettysburg, And see, all these sequence of events are all paid by the blood of others. And I know I've beaten this to death, but it means something. And there's a video I'm going to post after this. It's going to be kind of the Why I Vote Part 2. I know I'm famous for my Parts 1, 2, and 3. Sorry. Until I get out of YouTube jail, I can't post anything longer than 15 minutes. But and it's a series of that was on HBO, and the quality's not the greatest. I didn't piece it together. I didn't make it like all trying to like grab at the emotional heartstrings. I just threw it up there just for a basis to understand. And you're watching these Iraqis going to vote, whether you believe in the war or not. What I'm trying to focus on are the people who went out to vote despite the threats of death. Now, when we go to vote, I mean, the worst thing that can happen is a flat tire happens. These people are getting mortared, sniped, attacked for going to the polls, and they came out in record numbers. And not only that, they put on an ink on their finger that doesn't go away for 2 days. So you have a mark, that you have voted, which could be a mark of death. And these people went out. despite the fact whether this election was going to even be fair. I mean, I'm sure it was not that fair, comparatively speaking, to, our elections, even though we constantly cry foul and our elections are all rigged and whatnot. I don't believe that. I don't think we've gotten that far. I believe once Obamacare gets in, that shift, I believe it's shifted. Once Obama got in, that was it. But I believe Obamacare was kind of the key that was going to solidify whether we were now officially, in a sense, slaves. We had our last chance trying to close the government, and that failed. And this is part of the reason why during that election I wasn't a big fan of Romney, but I supported him because I thought game strategy. He had the most likely chance to win. There were not enough people cohesively behind Ron Paul, even though I wasn't sold on Ron Paul because I don't like his whole, it doesn't matter what I didn't like. I'm not going into that either. The whole point was the strategy. I felt Obamacare was by far one of the most dangerous situations, along with our problems with Iran. But the biggest thing, the internal problems in our country, Obamacare, that was going to literally seal the deal whether our Democratic Republic was going to be officially compromised. Because that's the problem. That's the thing with in a sense, government handouts, is once you're in there, now you're dependent upon the government rather than being self-sufficient, which should be the driving force of the American. Now you are dependent on another that has all the power. Bad combo. And now you're dealing with something that you need, healthcare. It's not like something you can do without. So it's one of the worst overreaches of power, I think, in American history, as far as my opinion goes. So I look at that, and I look at all these people that have died when I go the Battle of Trenton. That was the turning point. That was when our, Battle of Monmouth. That's when the Revolutionary War. Now we're winning. We have a chance now at this to put people, a government that had never existed, that experiment, to make people in control of their government. By the people, for the people. And then that union was tested, and it came to the pinnacle of the Battle of Gettysburg. And if we didn't win that Battle of Gettysburg, then there's chances that the effect of that, the ripple effect, would be that we probably would not have been able to answer the call of D-Day. Now, of course, it's hypothetical, but I really doubt it. I really doubt we would have been. I think everyone would be speaking German right now. That didn't happen, right? So now, here we are, and our men and women that go overseas, they're representing freedom and our ideals. And when they're getting killed, they're dying for the very Constitution that I hold dear. And so when I think of that is the main driving force that makes me go and vote. Now, how you choose to vote, I don't know how. That is something you're going to have to come up with. I think, once again, game strategy. What's the best likelihood of the winner? When I think and can tell for sure that voting has been compromised, that it's no longer viable, that they have corrupted it to the point where the same people are going to be getting elected because people are now voting for to keep their handouts coming. If it's gotten that bad, I think we're right there. And I think if Obamacare does sink it in, which I think it's going to, that is the dead knell. That is the end. So that's in a nutshell. This is one of the reasons why I vote. And why I will continue to vote. I take it really to heart what people have done on my behalf, on all of our behalves, to ensure that this country survives. And to me, it's like and this is my opinion. I'm not saying I'm pointing the finger at you or anybody else, but to me, not voting is like stepping on the flag, lighting it on fire, literally walking over the blood and body parts of people that have died to ensure my right to drive to that polling station and hit that button. It's maybe a dramatic statement, but I honestly feel that way. Right down to my very soul. And that's when I read these books, Soul of a Lion and David McCullough's John Adams. And when I read these books on Sam Adams and all these leaders, it gets me more and more in touch with that, the very soul of what this country was founded on. That's why I'm going to continue to vote, and until this country is proven that it's over, that we have finally, as Ben Franklin said, we've given you a republic, madam, let's see if you can keep it. If we finally cashed in that check and decided that self-rule is too hard, just like the Romans did, I believe that time will come where I'll know, I pay attention enough. I think we're getting close. And once that happens, then reluctantly, begrudgingly, that's probably when I would stop voting. But if we got to that point, then we'd probably be hitting Civil War time. I will tell you that what happened during that filibuster, Senator Cruz, and to see these supposed Republicans back down and allowing this to roll through, and they're just saying, oh, this is all posturing. No. Posturing is a form of resistance. It's a form of standing up and saying, no, even if this doesn't work out, like even if I'm not completely stopping anything, I'm going to stand. People have to, that's what we need. A leader, somebody who's going to do the unpopular thing. Unpopular to that side. And stand for what you say you believe in. That's what we need. That's what is needed. I don't think it's totally broken yet, and so I can't in good conscience. So the part 2 video that will be coming will feature another example, and I want you to watch these people going to vote, and I want you to see the sacrifice our country's sacrifice to give them that right, whether you believe in it being done or not. I'm talking about the freedom to go vote. And I think it's shown in that video that I'm going to show next, okay? Do your best, let God do the rest, guys. Thank you, PopPrepper, for everything you do and the back and forth. And totally respect you, man. Cheers with the coffee cup. Take care.